Bihar is flood prone. Almost every other year, thousands of homes are washed away and millions of lives disrupted. But the government says it has a solution.
If we are able to implement these projects, we will be greatly solving the problems of flood and drought in our country.
The plan is to connect 60 major rivers, including the Ganges. Those with surplus water will be dammed and diverted to rivers with lower levels. The government also plans to build 30,000 reservoirs and canals stretching 15,000 kilometers to control the flow. Some experts say this will improve transport and trade routes along the waterways, as well as boost the economy. But it comes at a price.
It has huge environmental impacts. It has a huge social impacts. It's socially very disruptive project. It will destroy the rivers.
In fact, it's estimated that millions of people will be affected. This community of farmers was uprooted 2 years ago to make way for a government infrastructure project, a bridge across the Ganges River. They're still waiting to be resettled and compensated, with fear that they will have to move again when the River Link project reaches Bihar.
I would advise people not to leave their place on government promises unless you get a proper legal document. The government cheats you.
Government leaders are being asked why the river linking plan is going ahead with so much opposition.
We have to see how to minimize the submergence and how to best address the issue of resettlement and rehabilitation.
But critics say these issues should be addressed before they ask taxpayers to foot the $87 billion bill this project will cost. Divya Gopalan, AlJazeera, Patna, Bihar.
Ashok Swain is a professor of peace and conflict research at Uppsala University who's carried out research into water security. Joins us now via Skype from Sweden. Thanks very much for speaking to us. Tell us more about the opposition to Narendra Modi's plans in India to this plan to link up these rivers, including, of course, the Ganges.
There are opposition on different levels. Particularly, it's a huge economic cost, and that whether the Indian government will be able to address that economic cost, we don't know. But the most another important thing is that there has been serious environmental issues which has not been looked at. There has been no environmental impact assessment. We have only seen that there have been only lines on the map that they want to connect from one river to another river, but there has not been any proper assessment of what kind of environmental social damages it will cause. The third thing is it will be a huge challenge, particularly to implement it, because the reason is you are diverting water from one state to another state. And there are several interstate water problems exist in India already. And when you are again trying to divert the water, particularly from the northern state to southern states, there are many more interstate disputes are bound to come. And that will be a very serious threat, particularly for this kind of projects to undertake. What they are planning to do now, they're trying to connect very small scale within the state or the states which are governed by the BJP, which is at the center as well as in the state. But I think those projects haven't yet taken off, and we don't know how they are to take it off. But I think I'm seriously doubting that whether they will be really serious about undertaking these projects.
So you don't think that this plan is likely to be implemented? What are the alternatives to linking up these rivers? Where would, what sort of things or what sort of projects should the government be investing in as an alternative?
The government hasn't really yet looked at how to address the flood or manage the flood. Take, for example, what has happened now in the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, the massive flood which took place. Your report I was explaining in Bihar, also in northeastern part of Assam. The data, the runoff data, which the government had in the beginning of August, that this is the flood is going to take place because the Ganges and Brahmaputra are going to peak at the same time in the third week of August. But there has not been any prior work was done. There was not even warning was given to the people. So the thing is, there is a massive human life which has been lost because of the government really didn't take any preventive measures or warning, didn't give the proper warning to the people. The other thing is, there have been many ways you can really minimize the flood. One of the reasons, of course, there is a massive deforestation has taken place in the upstream areas. Even the India's blockade of Nepal, which caused a massive deforestation in Nepal itself, and you can see that has really causing much more floods in the Indian side. There has not been dredging has not taken place. There has not been any possibility of underground water recharge has not been done, which could be you can really recharge the underground at the time of the flood, and then this water can be used in the dry seasons. There are many ways which the government can really undertake this flood challenges and in a very positive way, but they haven't done it. They just want to put the emphasis on the large-scale projects, which I think, again, I said, these are the projects which are not going to take place, but just to divert the attention from their failures, which they have committed in not managing well the floods, which is going on now.
Professor Ashok Swain, thank you very much for sharing your insight on this.
Thank you.
Much more to bring you this hour. Hungary and Slovakia are ordered to take in their share of refugees as the EU's top court rejects their legal challenge. Pope Francis heads to Colombia